Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
Hello and welcome to episode number 7 of the Football Retro Podcast. I am your host, Johnny, and I'm joined here once again by my buddies and my co-hosts, Ak and Adasi. How you going, guys?
Great, Johnny. Always a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to another quality discussion.
Mate, doing really well. How about yourself? How you going?
Good, man. Looking forward to episode 7 already.
I know, it's hard to believe it's been 7 episodes.
Wow.
I know. With a special one today, a very, very special one already. Let's see if we can hear this. The champions, Adasi, the Champions League.
Yes, the Champions League. That anthem there gets the hair sticking up off your neck every time I listen to that.
So today we'll be talking about more specifically Champions League finals. You hear that tune, and for us in Australia, it's about waking up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning.
During the week, Wednesday or Thursday morning.
Wednesday or Thursday morning, listening to that and watching the Champions League with some fond memories and some sad ones for some of us.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look, for someone like me, maybe that doesn't have a strong connection with any European team. It's just more about waking up to watch some quality football and watch history.
Yeah, 100%.
Happen in front of our eyes. For someone like you guys to have a very strong connection to someone like Real Madrid,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different when you have emotions involved.
Yeah, definitely a lot of ups and downs. Mostly ups for Real Madrid fans and downs.
I call it like a marriage between the Real Madrid and the Champions League as to how, yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I agreed to make the Champions League episode. It's going to be a Real Madrid wankfest anyway.
Just a little.
So look, today we'll talk a little bit about the finals. Obviously, it takes a lot to get there, but that's a game in itself. It's like, it doesn't matter what you've done in the whole tournament. When you get to the final, it's a complete different game. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like any other tournament, I think Champions League, you could do very well domestically, but when it comes to midweek competition for Europe's elite teams that compete at this stage, anyone can win on any day. You know, and we've seen a lot of upsets around the years, and sometimes some of the big boys win it. But yeah, it's very unpredictable.
Yeah, that's the beauty of tournament football in general compared to leagues and seasons and all that. And that's why we enjoy Champions League football, is it's the best of the best being pitted against each other in over two legs, or in the final where it's everything winner takes all, and you have it right then and there. I don't know about you, Johnny, but what do you reckon? I think it's probably the Premier League, or so to speak, of football. Would you say it's the best?
I guess, look, financially, it attracts the biggest players, so you have to. I mean, because a World Cup, yes, of course the best players are there, but you don't have the freedom to choose from every player in the world as to goes in your team.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's per country. Whereas the Champions League, people like Man City, Barca, Juve, Real have the ability to buy whoever they want to a certain point. So yeah, you have to assume it is the best money-wise, quality of football-wise, because the best teams are there, and it's the champions of the best leagues in the world. And when I say best leagues, once again, I'm talking about the players that are in it. We spoke, I think, before we started recording today, we spoke about the quality of the leagues and how competitive they are according to who win it. Places like Germany and Italy, they have the same team winning it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So the competitiveness is not there, but the quality of football is still there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that goes on display when you're in the Champions League. Unfortunately, Italy's had a bit of a poor run when it comes to Champions League wins or European Cup wins. They've not won one since 2007. So
2010.
2010. Oh, Inter,
yes,
of course.
Inter,
What a win that was, guys! Like, I have to admit, like, when we're talking about great finals,
that was a great side.
That was a great side.
Mourinho,
it was a great accomplishment.
Well, you bring up countries performing in the tournament.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think it's a reflection of the strength of the league? For example, I believe the German league is not a bad league in regards to the
Quality.
quality of football, the way it's formed, and yet apart from the two major players, there are no really standouts. I know Leverkusen made the final a century ago. It feels like now, 18 years ago, back in 2002. Apart from that, obviously you got Dortmund who compete here and there, and then Bayern who are the big players. The Dutch don't really give us too much competition there.
No, unfortunately not.
Ajax every now and then, but
Yeah. So apart from that, you got the Spanish with the three big teams.
Yep.
Then you got the English, have a variety of teams coming through.
Yep.
Now the Italians who have the 2 or 3 major players,
Yep.
mostly Juve. So let's look at history. So that's the modern history. Let's look at history overall.
Yep.
Who do you think are the big players in regards to countries and when it comes to the Champions League?
In regarding countries,
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be Spain and Italy, right?
yeah.
I mean, historically, those are the two that dominated Champions League. Funnily enough, you had Real Madrid go through the first sweep of Champions League wins, European Cup wins, 1955 to 60. Small shout out there to Real Madrid. But moving away from them, you got to say that Italy definitely went on to dominate for that from 1960 to the year 2000 in terms of overall wins. I mean, you had that dominant AC Milan side by the late 80s, early 90s. You had that Juventus side in the 80s that was dominant as well. Inter with their Catenaccio in the 1960s. So, I mean, like we've always said, Serie A really dominated that transition into the modern era. They really dominated in terms of quality.
Yeah, I'd say so too. And I think that was at the time when they were doing very well in Europe. The Serie A was arguably one of the best leagues in the world. Milan, Juventus, Inter, and Napoli as well in the late 80s, 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
UEFA Cup.
it wasn't one of the best. It was the best.
Yeah, look, you're not wrong, because when I started following football, Serie A was the league that a lot of the big players would go to, and that was.
It was the league of the stars.
It was,
absolutely.
and a
100%.
lot of quality at the time. It was at its peak, and and they said the Spanish and Italian leagues. I think the teams there from those countries really stood their mark in the European football competition.
You have to acknowledge the English in patches as well. So you had that.
Do we have to?
Wouldn't have to, but but there was that Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Liverpool era.
Yeah, yes, that's it. And then Liverpool had the European Cup success in the 80s, and they won it.
Well, in the 80s, the English teams won it 6 times in a row.
Yeah, that's a massive achievement.
Yeah,
so you can see that.
and that's 7 out of 8, because then Liverpool won it again in '84.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah, so you can see they had the dominance, and unfortunately for them, the issues with hooliganism in '85 when they lost to Juventus, the
Yeah.
Heysel disaster, and then from there they had like a 6-year ban.
Something like that.
Yeah, so that kind of put them on hold in the background.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. Patches like that, where you have the Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, and Villa winning those 6 in a row, and then we'll come forward to 05. From 05 to about 09, I think it was. There's 5 years in a row where English teams constantly made the finals again, and the 08 being an all-English final.
Yeah, that was a time when the Premier League was really making its mark around the world. That was really developing itself as the most popular league.
Mhm.
Whether it's the best is arguable. You can have a debate all day in terms
Yeah,
of quality,
100%.
but in terms of popularity and worldwide fanfare, the Premier League is number one. The marketing and the financial side of things, they were ahead of everyone else. They were ahead of the game.
You're absolutely right.
And
in
attracting
everything
top
you guys
players,
have
yeah.
said, I totally agree. And I mean that 5 years was certainly a patch of success. 5 years where every runner-up was an English
And the winners
team,
as well, yeah.
but it's like out of those 5 years, how many times did they actually win it? You have to give some credence to the fact that out of those 5 years, the only time they won it was the
Liverpool.
all-English final.
And Liverpool.
And
05.
Liverpool, they're twice out of the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll probably touch on later about Arsenal as well. They made it once.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start from the. And Akram will be happy about this. Where it all started. Talk to us a little bit about the Real Madrid dynasty.
All right, Darcy, do you want to start about that, mate?
Yeah, when the records speak for themselves, Miguel Munoz, coach of Real Madrid, leading into 5 straight European Cups, as it was, at the time was called, led by Di Stefano, Puskás, Kento, and then The one particular final that sticks out, 1960.
Why
just
does
one
it stick out?
Oh mate, this is generally regarded as one of the greatest finals of all time. Besides, not just in Champions League football, but in general, because the quality of the game was perhaps its most modern that it had been for so many years. You know, leading up into 1960, we obviously know that the style of football at that time was completely different to what we would have watched. If you watch it now, you're like, what the hell is this? That 1960 game was really starting to begin that entry into the modernization of football in terms of tactics and style. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Real Madrid. Score was 7-3. Really attacking football, flowing, stylish football. And I mean, if it's memorable for anything, it's memorable for the fact that Puskás and Di Stefano were at their absolute best. 3 goals to Di Stefano, 4 goals to Puskás, and each goal was just something to celebrate.
Is that the highest score in a final? Has to be.
I think it is. Yeah, from what I'm
10
told.
goals.
Yeah.
10 goals overall. Yeah, and Real to score 7 on one side. But
Okay, question. Sorry to cut you off, Darcy.
Right.
Question for you guys: what other record does that final hold?
that would have been the highest attendance.
Yeah.
127,000.
Holy crap! I didn't think you'd know the number.
127,000 crammed into Hampden Park in Glasgow.
Can you finish it off? The number?
I just need to round it up.
312.
Just to rounding it up.
621.
I was close.
Yeah, crammed in
Yeah.
to Hampden
So
Park.
that's a record that would not be beaten, obviously, with modern stadiums.
No, unfortunately not. But yeah, what a match! It capped off that 5th European Cup win for Real Madrid, and it's something that people bring up now. Real Madrid fans love to bring it up because it was just such a memorable moment. After that, of course, you know, players started to break up, the team started to move on, and you know, new competitors started coming on the scene in 1960s.
Look, and I'm sorry to cut your glory down.
Okay.
But it's also not the same comparing modern era to what the Champions League was back then. It's a different tournament.
It is. You have to admit it is.
And how do you think it's evolved over the years from there to now?
I think now it's evolved in that there's like there were in a time where no one could win it 2 years in a row in the Champions League when they formed I think 91, 92.
Yeah, 91, 92.
when they called it the Champions League, away from the European Cup to the Champions League, and then from 91 onwards up until 2017. 17 when
who won back to back again?
Oh my God.
Real Madrid, of course.
Sorry, Johnny. Sorry, I had to, mate.
Real Madrid, of course.
Anyways, yeah.
And yeah, just a winner.
So why do you think has changed so much?
I think just the unpredictable. It's very unpredictable.
Why?
Players, teams get stronger. The finance in the game. You've got players that can go to any club any time, and I think as well, just the nature of the football is that you have an off day, you can be caught off guard, and that's happened a lot. You know,
I mean, I think it's evolved from that first tournament. That it was such a novel idea. Tournament of the champions of Europe. It was a very interesting idea that started in 1955. Obviously, having clubs that were quite small, some quite large, etc. It started with a fairly small number of clubs, and it expanded, and it's evolved to become the dominant league or competition in world football, like we were just referring before. Yes, the World Cup has a lot of prestige, and I mean, I tend to think that a World Cup win is probably a bit more of a feather in your cap than a Champions League win.
Yeah, that's mainly because it happens every 4 years as well.
But also it's because you can't choose your teammates.
Yeah.
So sometimes your lack of choices show your competitiveness to rise above challenges with your national teammates. But at the same time, regardless of how prestigious the World Cup is, the Champions League gets a lot of eyeballs. It's every year. It is the tournament and the competition of the stars, and it evolved from 1955, where this was this novel idea. Hey, let's get the winners of the leagues around Europe to compete. And I believe there was only like about 10 or 11 teams in that first few tournaments.
Yeah.
To now becoming one of the most dominant competitions, the most successful, and the most visible.
Yeah, look, and I think there's one word that for me stands out between then and now, and it's business.
Yeah.
The whole, not only the league, Champions League, but the sport itself has become a big business. So that's the evolution of that in itself is massive in regards, to,
100%.
in regards to changes in the last few decades.
And I think Champions League is definitely
A reflection.
The reflection of it.
Yeah.
Good word, Johnny.
I think as well, Champions League, like it's not just the champions of the leagues now. It's you've got the top 3, top 4 from different leagues who can now enter the competition.
Absolutely.
It went from like a 16-team competition, 4 groups of 4, just the winners of each league, to 24 teams, and then in 99/2000 season, it went to 32.
100%. And I mean, the influx of money
Yeah.
and branding and marketing around the competition. When you have coaches at the beginning of the year saying that their goal is to come fourth. It's like, no, not to win the league anymore,
Arsene
but it's
Wenger-
just to get that Champions League money.
They say Arsene Wenger calls it a trophy, coming fourth.
Yeah, because once again, it's a lot of money to.
And each stage you progress, you get more money. So the
It's a
financial incentive is amazing. Unbelievable.
Well, I don't know what the money's like in Europe, but I know South America. When you make the Libertadores,
yeah.
it's $7 million to get in, as opposed to the equivalent to the Europa League, which is $1 million.
Wow.
So it's a big money difference, and that's why you fight so hard to make it to the top league.
It's a very different to come 5th or 4th, eh?
Yeah.
Europa League, Champions League, it's very different when it comes to the money factor.
Absolutely.
So we spoke about the 50s, a time where Real Madrid didn't need VAR to win trophies.
Oh, please, here we go.
So let's move on.
Here we go.
Let's move on to
I have to admit, that was pretty funny though. I like that.
You had to throw that in there.
let's move on to the 60s. So the 60s was special for a few different reasons.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we started off with Eusebio.
Yeah, Benfica, they upset Real Madrid. I believe one of
Absolutely.
the finals, and then
They beat Barcelona as well.
Yeah,
The whole
they did.
fucking universe revolves around Real
no,
Madrid.
but still, to be Real Madrid is no big
no mean feat. I mean,
exactly,
you still had
it's not easy.
Pento in there. You still had other amazing talented
Eusebio,
players.
he was the Portugal's golden boy at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, can't forget him.
So they made 3 finals in a row. They
Yeah.
won the first 2.
Yeah.
It was AC Milan's first trophy.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about Inter being
Absolutely.
the dominant force.
Absolutely.
in the 60s.
With the first Luis Suarez, the Spaniard, Luis Suarez, I believe he is. I was about to say Uruguayan, but that's the second Luis Suarez. The first
No
Luis
relation.
Suarez, yeah, absolutely. Where like that first big star to leave the Barcelona Real Madrid duopoly and then move off into another league. Helenio Herrera went on to create a whole new brand of football that has till this day Italy can't disassociate themselves from. Catenaccio. And I mean, definitely not exactly one of the most stylish brands of football, but you can't argue the influence that it has.
Yeah, they made 3 finals. They won
Wow.
2. Even Benfica made 5 finals in the 60s. They won 2. Real Madrid won in 66.
Yeah.
Celtic with the first win in
Mhm.
67. And the big one as well was Man United winning the first trophy.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about English football and the role English footballers had in Champions League, and I was going to bring up the fact that, yeah, I mean, Man United won in 68, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Significant.
I wonder what would have happened to Real Madrid's 5-year run if we're not for the Munich disaster.
That's right.
So exactly right. And yeah, the Busby boys won it 10 years after the Munich disaster as well.
Wow,
in
it's
68.
unbelievable.
So who knows what would have happened? Yeah.
So the 60s brought a lot of historic moments, let's just say, in regards to football.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
there was a
Yeah.
diversification of talent.
Yeah.
You started to see clubs around the continent really take the tournament seriously. It wasn't just the Real Madrid show. Definitely bringing up the Eusebio emergence and Benfica emergence was certainly showing putting the continent on notice that was a tournament that clubs were taking seriously for the prestige of it being the best of the best in that in Europe.
The crowd started to rise again. I mean, the Man United final in 68 had 92,000 people there.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, we move into the 70s now. So Celtic make another final, which final wins. But then 3 teams not dominated that era.
Yeah.
So what 3 teams come to mind?
For me, 70s, I'd say Ajax.
Yep,
Johan
3.
Cruyff.
So Cruyff winning 3 in a row.
Yeah. Bayern Munich as well.
Beckenbauer winning 3 in a row.
So yeah.
And then late 70s was dominated by who?
Oh, I don't
Liverpool.
know.
Liverpool,
Liverpool.
yeah, of course.
fair enough.
Liverpool.
77, 78, Liverpool won it.
That the Bill Shankly era.
I believe so.
So yeah.
Yeah, so late Liverpool. So them three teams being dominant in that era.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and you said Ajax, I said Cruyff, you said
Yeah.
Munich, I said Beckenbauer.
That's it.
It's just the stars that stand out,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's good to see someone like Cruyff winning.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. Then he made fittingly because his the style of football that he had, he brought, and the legacy they left, at the time.
Absolutely. I mean, like the thing is that we talked about the emergence of all this talent in the 60s, but it was in that 70s where you showed this modern level of football, this stylish, fantastic brand of play that Cruyff brought in, that Total Football brought in, and at the same time you have to give it to Beckenbauer and Gerd Müller and all those guys in that played for Bayern Munich, because they were as dominant as you could possibly ask. Beckenbauer, what a player, guys! What a player! Played for that in that libero. Position, that sweeper that at the same time had that ability, that freedom to roam. I always wish we could see that again. Whatever happened in those good old days? I want to see players roaming back from the defense, going in, making attacking forays.
Yeah, having a run, having a go, and not just staying in the back four all the time. Venturing forward.
I mean, that's why I like Sergio
Piqué
Ramos,
does
because he
that.
likes to attack.
Piqué does that sometimes from
can't compare
from a
Piqué to
centre back.
Beckenbauer.
No, you
But you're
can't
talking about the
prove it.
position, like from a centre back pushing
What
forward
are you
for a
bringing
nine.
up
Ramos
Piqué
does that.
for? Yeah, Ramos does
Oh my
it.
God.
Hey,
This
come on,
is
it's
getting a
only
little
fair since
funny.
you always bring up Vélez as 94.
All right. So, look, in the 70s, I think what also brought was players becoming stars and celebrities. So you had the Pelés going to New York, the Beckenbauers going to New York.
Absolutely.
You had that superstardom. So that's where the business aspect started to pick up as well.
Yeah.
I think as well in the 70s, you talk about Ajax and Bayern Munich, Holland, and Germany, and then that coincided and then transitioned to the national team as well. They both made the
Exactly
1974
That was a
World Cup final. Yeah,
deserving final for both teams, and I think
Yeah.
that's one disappointment for Holland fans. So the 80s. Interesting 80s.
yeah.
I mean, the 80s was full of so much. And I mean, that's the thing, transitioning from the 70s where you saw the decade as, like you said, Johnny, the emergence of the business aspect, the money-making potential football had. You really saw that go to a whole new level in the 80s. And you definitely had some dominant teams in the 80s, guys.
You know,
They did.
100%. And what's surprising to me is having teams like Juventus, Platini's Juventus, Maradona's Napoli. You had the big players. You had the Inter, the ACs. There were 3 years in the 80s where there was no Italian teams in the final.
And
Wow.
interesting fact, the year we were born, 3 of us, you know which team won it?
Yeah, I've got it in front of me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Porto.
That's it. Yeah, they beat Bayern Munich.
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah.
86. Probably one of the biggest surprises is Bucharest.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. You had as well the 80s and probably leading up 80s towards the 90s. You had the Eastern European teams as well that were
Absolutely.
that
That had a good
put their
generation
mark
of
in-
talent.
That put their mark
Yeah.
on the European front, which was good to see.
Well, Stour making the final twice in the 80s.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
Eastern European football made its mark as well. So it's not just always the Western European football.
Yeah. 85 obviously was a very meaningful one, like we touched on before. So it was a Juventus-Liverpool final.
Yeah, the Heysel disaster, unfortunately for wrong reasons, with the crowd issues there, and surprisingly the game still went on.
And we were saying before that something that in today's era, the game will definitely be cancelled, or it definitely won't happen.
It's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
believe that was 85 though. Like, you would have think that they would have stopped
And-
the game then.
and that
It's
was
not that long ago.
Yeah, and that was a turning point for English football because what happened, you'll know they got the
suspension from European competition,
That's
right?
Was it 5-6 years?
5 to 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, because I mean, it was pretty much all of the rest of the 80s.
Yeah.
So it was 5-6 years, and it really hurt the Premier League's ability to recruit international talent. And that's when you go into the 90s, and why the early 90s is all, Italian clubs, Spanish clubs, etc. Sorry,
And then I was
Darcy?
going to say, that ban that they had, 5 or 6 year ban, on the flip side, that was a turning point which led to the formation of the Premier League, English Premier League, as
Yeah.
we know
Yeah.
now. And we all know now how it is as a league. So,
And you're talking about hurting them. No team made any finals in the Champions League. No English team made the final until the United team in '99.
Wow.
So they
yeah.
went 14 years without having any teams in the
It's a
final.
long run, yeah.
So the 80s brought a lot of diversity, like
Mm.
PSV winning the final in '88. And AC Milan starting to come across as a strong contender,
Absolutely.
winning the two,
Mm.
89 and 90.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, Johnny. Is like we were talking about the Hustle disaster and how it really hurt English football. But like Darcy said, it really served as a motivation to get serious about professionalism, about copping down, stepping down on the hooliganism to try to create a much more professional brand. And I think those experiences really served to create the Premier League as the dominant league in terms of marketing, in terms of professionalism that we know of it as today. And I think a lot of it is because of that disaster in '85.
It played a big part. Yeah.
Yeah. Between the Champions League ban and getting raped by a little Argentinian in '86, it wasn't a good time for the
Hand of
English.
God.
Anyways, move on to the 90s. Milan.
Yeah, they kicked off the decade, that Milan side with Arrigo Sacchi coach, and that the Dutch trio, Van Basten, Gullit and Rijkaard. Very iconic trio, iconic team of that era.
Absolutely. Like we just did an episode a few weeks ago about top 5 clubs, and we all agreed AC Milan was the club of the 90s.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic side, and when you think about it and you think about the European Cup wins, you have to think about their 94 win, right, Johnny?
It's up there. It's up there as one of the best. I mean, to beat a strong Barcelona, Cruyff's Barcelona 4-0 is a massive win. And
Barcelona were
historic.
heavy favourites going into the match.
And Johan Cruyff was very arrogant as well, saying they didn't really have to, they just had to turn up.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
got spanked 4-0. The dream team, they called them too.
The 90s is another one that brought a lot of diversity. I mean, Milan won, Red Star Belgrade. Would you call that a surprise?
I don't know about a surprise, but they were Yugoslav football back then when Yugoslavia was together. They were strong. The national team was strong, and
When
Red Star-
in 1990, they made the quarterfinals. They lost only by penalties.
exactly. And that youth team of the '87 that won,
Exactly
that won
right.
the tournament. They're a great generation of players. And Red Star Belgrade were a strong side. That's some quality players. Remember Robert Prosinecki was playing there. Darko Panchev, from my memory serves me correctly. He was playing.
Thanks to Yugoslavia, Denmark won the Euro.
Well, that's right, yeah. So we wonder as well, like, what if the wars didn't happen in Yugoslavia and they stayed together, could we have seen more success from teams like Red Star Belgrade or Dinamo Zagreb? Yeah,
I think it's such a good take Darcy has there, because when you sit on your computer and you look at past winners and you see a club like that win, it is a surprise. But Darcy's totally right. When you put it into context of the time that it was in, I don't think anyone was that shocked. And I mean, that goes to show how diverse talent was spread around Europe at the time. Agents weren't all conquering and all dominant, where they were marshalling their players like sheepdogs marshalling sheep around two clubs that they want them to succeed in. At the time, it was players getting opportunities and trying hard, and the level of scouting wasn't what it is today. So players were able to slip through the proverbial crack and get into clubs like Red Star that not everyone would totally assume that players would go to, which allowed for big surprising wins, including the first win in the Champions League area, which was Marseille. When was the last time a La Liga club won Champions League?
Marseille was the last one, 93.
That's it, eh?
And they had a great
So
side
I'm
too.
still stuck on proverbial crack. You're like the Shakespeare of football acts.
You got that right.
To be or not to be. All right. So 93 had Marseille, which is,
Marseille's one was kind of tainted a bit because they got done for match fixing in the French league as well at that time. So
fair enough.
but they did have a growth side.
They did beat AC Milan in the final.
They did,
which
but
is
put that aside, Ligue 1 and
Yeah.
Champions League, they did deserve to win.
There was still a quality side of
They
that.
did, yeah, they were.
94 is the 4-0 win that we spoke about. 95 was the great Ajax team.
The
Yeah.
youth of Ajax, Louis van
So
Gaal.
once again beating AC Milan, which is a strong
Yeah,
team of the 90s, as we
that's
agreed.
right. Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, that Ajax team was really strong, and it showed in the national team, and that was the last time that we really thought of Netherlands as a true world giant in football.
Really?
on the club scene, you mean?
In the clubs and national side, look, tournament football, the opportunity exists for you guys to go far. They got to the final 2010.
And they won it, as opposed to like
Sorry?
going far. I think what you're saying is that they go far in tournament but not win it. But this is probably the last time.
The last time that they
something.
won a big tournament, but it's the last time that they were really always consistently there or whereabouts. I mean, Ajax won in 95,
And
then they went on to and compete again in the final in 96, correct?
That's right. Yeah, and
So the national team, you got the Euro semi-final of 2000,
And then
the Champions League, the World Cup final of 2010,
and
the semi-final of 2014.
yeah, I mean, I suppose so. Like I said, sometimes
semi-final
football-
2004. Yeah, it goes on. Yeah,
I never thought
France 2018 was memorable.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing, like that 98
Semi-final
era.
98.
Yeah, then that's when I really think of the Netherlands team as truly someone you would be, let's say, afraid of as a big team. I don't know about you guys, but I don't necessarily look at the World Cup fixtures at the beginning of every World Cup and go, oh, wow, we've got to watch out for Netherlands these days. Unfortunately, so it's got to be said.
So at a certain point, you have to respect them.
Not now. They've gone through now a generation which the talent isn't as
No, not at all,
quality based
yeah.
compared to the other ones. But
Absolutely.
as all countries go through. But yeah.
So then Juve beat Ajax.
Yeah, Juve Ajax. That was the first Champions League final I've watched. That one, and I remember it. Ajax still had a good side.
Yeah.
They had the core from the year before when they won it, and a few other players they had in there. Jari Litmanen, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, of course.
he did it.
Jari.
From Finland. He was a quality player. But Juve came out on top. That Vialli, Ravanelli,
Del
Del
Piero.
Piero was up and coming at the time. Yeah, they finished 1-1 and they won on penalties.
Nice.
Yeah.
The year after, we go to 97. Surprise. Dortmund.
That final, 97 final, was one of the most memorable ones I've watched. The way Dortmund came through that tournament out of nowhere, beating Manchester United in the semi-final stage,
Mm-hmm.
over 2-0 over both legs, and then the final, like Juve were heavy favourites, but Dortmund stifled Juventus in that game. Zidane didn't have the best of games.
No, yeah.
The way that Dortmund held out their midfield, and Karl-Heinz Riedler with 2 goals. Del Piero then came on with a back heel to make it 2-1, and then the moment, one of the best Champions League moments ever, Lars Ricken. We've never heard of him because he went off the map after that. Came on, scored within a minute or two. One touch, lobs it over Angelo Peruzzi in the goal. The 3-ball wins at 3. That was one of the most memorable Champions League moments.
Nice. Give me 10 seconds on the 98 final.
10 seconds. The 7th European Cup finally arrives for Real Madrid.
Wow, that's a heading. That's a newspaper heading. Did they deserve it?
It was a tough game. Wasn't the best game.
That's Juve's third final in a row.
That's right. That was strong then,
Yeah.
towards the late 90s. But Real Madrid came through. They had that long barren 32 years without a European Cup, and finally,
100%.
Yeah.
they won that coveted.
Well, I believe Redondo was one of the players of the year worldwide. He still didn't make the World Cup.
Yeah, he had a good run with Real in the Champions League, and because in the league they didn't do too well. They came 4th, but yeah, like I said, led them to the final, but didn't make the World Cup squad.
Man United 99 Champions League final. This, let's be honest, this is remembered for the last 3 minutes of the game
100%.
because the rest of the game was shit.
Yeah.
Not shit.
No. Shit. No.
But Bayern were the better team.
Yeah, Bayern deserved in the 90 minutes, but it wasn't an exciting final.
They hit the work twice, Bayern, I remember.
Yeah, but it wasn't an exciting
What
match.
I'm saying, like that Bayern,
Yeah,
they had that
I'm
snatch
not
from
arguing
them.
with you.
Not
Like
arguing,
they
but
deserve to win.
they did.
Yes, I
That's what
agree
I'm
with you.
They
But
were the
people,
better
so I'm
side
saying
for the-
people remember it and it's exciting
the
if
last
you
few
watch the
minutes.
last 3 minutes.
And the 2
Absolutely.
subs he made, Sheringham and Solskjaer,
Yeah. So
and
fair-
that capped off a treble as well.
yeah,
Which is
no
what
trouble.
which is what lends itself to how memorable it is the way they finished it and the fact that it capped off a treble, which is, I believe, it's the first ever club to win a treble.
Yeah, at the time, for a long time.
Oh yeah, at the time,
Yeah.
of course.
Now that's been happening a few times.
It's actually yeah.
It's like, oh, treble, okay.
So 2000, it's been said to have been an average final because you had a powerhouse against a mid-table Valencia.
Yeah.
Valencia, that were a great story that year. They came through. They had a great side. Hector Coupe, the coach of Valencia at the time, had a quality squad. Gaisca Mendieta, Claudio Lopez, Miroslav Djukic at the back, Canizares in goal.
But how do they go in La Liga?
That year, 2000, they would have finished 2nd or 3rd because they made the next year's competition.
Okay.
Deportivo won the league that year, but Real had to win that one. That came 5th that season.
Yeah, that's right.
If they didn't win it, they would have gone into UEFA Cup football. And
Yeah.
for Real Madrid, that's
Uncalled
wasn't
for.
good.
No,
And
unacceptable.
they had financial issues as well. So to not win that final would have been catastrophic for Real Madrid.
So 3-0 win for Real Madrid.
Very one-sided. Real were just dominant.
0-1, Valencia make it again, which is a big effort,
Yeah.
and they versed Bayern Munich.
Valencia's peak and Bayern Munich were a strong side too. They were runner-up in 99, semi-finals 2000. They made the final again 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a strong squad led by Stefan Effenberg, their captain, Oliver Kahn in goal. Very good side, very efficient team, and wasn't the best final. 1-1, both of them were penalties, and they went into a shootout and Bayern won. Oliver Kahn, the hero.
0-2, let's just call it the Zidane final.
That's it.
Oh, Akram, we all remember when back in school, back in the
Oh.
days, and going to school, grins on our faces.
Honestly, probably one of the most memorable matches in the last 20 years or so of Champions League football because of that goal. It was a good game, and it was such a memorable winner. Funnily enough, how the winner came in the 45th minute. So what happened for the next 45 minutes, eh?
I can say Iker Casillas stole the headlines in that second 45. Came off for injured Cesar Sanchez and produced some amazing saves.
And he stayed in goals for the rest of his life, pretty much.
Pretty much, he cemented himself Spain's number one.
So 0-3 is not even worth mentioning.
I like this final, actually.
I'm
It
not
was-
laughing.
it-
No.
It was a struggle to stay awake.
Sometimes that good old defensive battle is enjoyable to watch. The stakes were at their highest. You got two Italian clubs so good at defending, just not playing a massive chess battle.
So to no one's surprise, the game finished 0.
With that game, I remember Shevchenko scoring in the first half, but it was ruled out, I think, for offside, but it was a questionable call. And then Buffon made another great save during the game. But one moment I remember from that final was they put the picture in the crowd and had a kid sleeping in his dad's lap.
Sums up the final. Move on to the underdogs final, you can call it.
Yeah.
Porto and Monaco.
Yeah, that was, as you say, the underdogs. No one expected them to get through. And
So Monaco, if I remember correctly, the first semi-final against Mourinho's against Chelsea, though, wasn't it?
Ranieri, yes.
Ranieri's Chelsea.
And the first year Abramovich
Because
came.
Porto was at Mourinho was at Porto.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right.
Who did Porto versus in the semi? Do you remember?
Yeah, Deportivo La Coruña.
Okay.
So
It really was a year of underdogs, eh?
that was also the first Champions League competition where they scrapped the second group stage. So from
Okay.
2000 to 2003,
Yeah.
they had two group stages, and
I remember
they
that,
thought it was
man.
They thought it was overkill, like with all these group stage matches and,
Yeah, it was,
and
to be honest.
too many matches for the players.
So they made it equivalent to the World Cup moving
Yeah.
forward, and it's,
Just over 2 legs.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's exciting. I don't know, guys. I'm sure we'll talk about this later on, but one of the most exciting finals of all time: Liverpool AC Milan of 05, Istanbul.
Goes without saying, mate.
I think everyone
Oh.
knows what happened there.
Yeah.
3-0, half time, 3-all. Crespo with those beautiful goals. You thought they had it in the bag.
Yeah, look, it's Milan with a better side, but to me, it was decided with 6 minutes of madness. So,
What do you call that?
why?
What do you call it? What do you call it? 6 minutes of madness?
Liverpool scored 3 goals within 6 minutes after half time.
That's
Bang,
crazy.
bang, bang, and that's it. And also, the memorable moment in that game was Dudek's double save.
Shevchenko,
Oh.
was it?
Yes,
Yeah. That would have changed everything.
unbelievable.
I just loved Dudek's antics during the
Penalties.
penalties. That was so much fun.
Bruce Drobbelaar, 84.
Yeah, oh, so much fun watching that shit. After that, guys, you were able to start doing that on FIFA too.
Oh, God.
After that amazing final, you have Barcelona coming through with
Mm-hmm.
who was up front? Ronaldinho,
We have Ronaldinho, Eto'o as well.
Absolutely.
Eto'o, Deco.
Deco was there, yes. Ludovic Julie,
So that was against
Henrik Larsson.
that was against the Arsenal. 06 Henry was there.
Yeah, that would have been a good final. Hadn't it been if Jens Lehmann didn't get sent off, actually.
Mm.
That decided the game. Arsenal up 1-0 too.
Campbell,
Yeah.
header?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then Lehmann got sent off, and Robert Pires had to be sacrificed. So
Mm.
if he stayed on, if he didn't get sent off, who knows?
Thierry Henry's last best chance at a Champions League
With Arsenal.
final with Arsenal. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It was good
just
to
one
see
of those things.
Ronaldinho with a trophy there.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, he
alright.
deserved,
I mean,
deserved it.
I would have preferred him if he was in a different jersey, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That goes without saying.
Anyways, 07, the revenge.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. 07 was definitely a moment where you you could see in AC Milan's eyes they were like gunning for this one. They knew that this was their opportunity. They weren't going to let it go like they did in 2005. And Kaká was, would you say, the best player in the world at that time?
Yeah, player of the year.
Yeah. Instrumental in the final as well.
Absolutely.
2 assists. The first one was more of a golden assist, but
And Inzaghi 2 goals.
yeah.
Pippo.
Good old Inzaghi.
Good old Pippo.
Who said that he was born offside? Someone.
Alex Ferguson.
Inzaghi was born offside. What a comment. That was 07. 08. I remember wanting Chelsea to win that final, waking up in the morning, and John Terry slips.
He had it there. He had that moment to be a hero and get
Yeah.
Chelsea's European Cup / Champions League title, and then
And all he
slipped
did was inflate Ronaldo's ego.
in the rain, in the Moscow rain.
Yeah, it was a fiery extra time as well.
Yeah, I think it was Drogba got sent off, didn't he?
Yeah.
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 In 08 there. United, the first win after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Barcelona now 09 against Man United. All I remember from that is the Messi header.
Yeah.
Jumping up so high, heading it through past Van der Sar, and they capped off a treble for them and Guardiola's first year, and that's when they announced the true tiki-taka football. Fortunately, as for Real Madrid fans, it wasn't a pleasant sight.
I remember Ferdinand saying how hard he was to mark Messi, especially in that goal, made him look ridiculous,
Yeah.
winning a header against him.
Mm.
That was the 09. 2010, once again, Mourinho,
Yeah.
a treble.
Yeah, that was a memorable side Inter won against a pretty decent Bayern Munich team. Not a fantastic Bayern Munich side, but they were efficient under Van Gaal. They got all the way to the final. And also, just the interesting fact, that was the first final from then on to be played on a Saturday night. They usually always played Wednesday night,
Yeah.
and then UEFA decided to make them on a Saturday night, which makes sense. You know, people over there in Europe, they have the weekend they spend in that city, and for us here in Australia, you know, you get
He worked for us, yeah.
works for us too. And then people don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
So it was a Mourinho Van Gaal final, is that right?
Yes,
Got to say
at the Bernabeu. Yeah.
Wow, well, yeah, that's right. I mean, look, I've got to say that was probably Mourinho at his best. I mean, Mourinho's always been a controversial character, but he's always been a guy that's been able to get the best out of his players. And I think it never rang more true than in this particular final. Samuel Eto'o playing out of position, playing his heart out for his coach and for his team. I mean, let's be honest, Samuel Eto'o was never known for one to be the most selfless, team-oriented guy.
And Diego Milito at his peak too, doing
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Wesley Sneijder.
This was the time where every
Cambiasso.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quality
I mean,
team, and
absolutely. And
Walter
this,
Samuel.
this is when every fan wanted Mourinho to coach their team.
And I was happy for one person to win that trophy that year. And one of my favourite right
Milito.
backs,
Zanetti.
Javier Zanetti.
Oh,
Absolutely
yeah.
deserved class act, that guy.
Yeah, to win a treble in a 2010 season, it's not Serie A. Strong Barcelona. Well, that's why Mourinho, that's when he made the jump to Real Madrid, is that right? After that?
Yeah, it's funny. The last game for Inter was at the Bernabeu, and then a month or two later, he made the move to the Bernabeu.
2011, we probably saw one of the best teams in the history of football.
Yeah, got to say. I mean, that's why the final is so memorable, isn't it? As it caps off that dream season for Barcelona, where they were I think untouchable, and you know, I think some people would even argue the probably greatest club side of all time. What would you say, Johnny? Milan of the early 90s or this Barcelona side?
Look, personally, I got to appreciate Barcelona a lot more consciously watching the games and analysing it a bit better, but I think the Barcelona 2011 Barcelona, not even whether they won, but the style of football they played, how dominant they were, you can't help but fall in love with it. So to me, it's the greatest club team of all time.
Fair enough.
I admit that, as hard as this, I remember someone to admit that was a great side. David Villa, Messi, and who was the other? Pedro.
Yeah.
Up front. Yeah, Pedro was came through the ranks, doing very well.
Which tells you there's no solid nine, there's no solid striker. Like Villa
No,
was
no,
an
no.
attacker, Pedro was an attacker, Messi was an attacker.
That's when Messi was playing false nine, right?
Yeah.
And then the three, the Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta.
What a
Come on,
midfield,
man.
man. What a midfield.
And I guess the memorable moment of that was Eric Abidal lifting the trophy. They gave him the captain's armband after the game. He just recovered from
Cancer.
cancer, yeah, from a liver issue he had, yeah.
Yeah.
So 2012, memorable night for the Chelsea fans. The Drogba.
2012,
header.
yes. That one, I enjoyed that simply because as a Real Madrid supporter, seeing Real crash out to Bayern in the semi-finals, a great Real Madrid side,
Yeah.
crash out in the penalty shootout at the semi-final stage, when Real had a great year that year, and then to see Bayern lose it
In Munich.
in their home stadium, and
they were so close to winning it.
and they were the better team, but Chelsea hung on.
Yeah.
They dug deep, and then that cross from the corner and Drogba, bang, header in past Manuel Neuer, top corner, and then also Robben missing a penalty. Petr Cech saving, and the beach ball coming just at the same time on the night from the fans, from the Chelsea. And then,
A bit of revenge for Drogba, who in 2009, and something we didn't mention, was the semi-final of Chelsea-Barcelona, where
horrible game that was in terms of refereeing.
Yes.
yeah.
He sent some profanities to the screen.
So it's a good revenge for Drogba, who ended up, thanks to this game, becoming a Chelsea hero
Yeah.
and legend. 2013, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Munich Dortmund for me didn't make it exciting. I didn't even watch this one.
That game wasn't bad. It wasn't the worst game. It wasn't the best, but it was a good battle between two teams. It was 50-50. But then memorable moment towards the end, locked at 1-1, and then it was Ribery putting through Ian Robben on goal, 1-1, and he slotted the ball, and Bayern Munich win their first titles in 12 years.
I mean, I think that, like, you know, Darcy, you're right there. I'm sure the final was it was an entertaining final. Nothing wrong with that. But what I take away from that particular time period was the fact how, and I mean, I don't mean to criticize Bayern Munich too much. I mean, Real Madrid's been guilty of this as well. But just how that Dortmund team was so full of talent, and year after year, Bayern Munich just kept picking off players from that club. Hummels, Lewandowski, Götze. I was like, come on, man. Just you know, you need, in order for your league to thrive and to become one of the best leagues in the world and such. I was like, wow, it was a little on the nose.
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
yeah, I think so. That's probably.
I mean, like
turns people off German football.
a little, yeah, you know.
Johnny mentioned that
The monopoly
just,
of success by Bayern Munich, and then when you have a club that brings their own players up, that have done the hard work like Dortmund did, and then from Bayern Munich just to pick players one by one. And don't get me wrong, Real Madrid's been guilty of doing things like that as well. Barcelona has, Manchester United, all the big clubs do it, but it was very systematic.
direct from your rival, like I can't imagine Real picking from Barcelona.
But also 3 or 4 players, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah,
Then we got that 2014.
La Decima.
The one that got away for Simeone.
La Decima 92.43. That's the time that Real Madrid fans will remember.
That hurt. I wanted Simeone to win it for a few reasons. One, because having Atletico win it would be nice.
Yeah,
Someone
I
else.
get it.
Look. I'm not gonna say they deserve to win because of the style of play, but just it's their style of play. So they held on to the end.
That was peak because they won the league that year too.
And also, exactly right. And also, look, Batistuta said it when Real Madrid came looking for him. He wanted to go to a club where winning trophies meant something. So for Atletico, a Champions League win would mean a lot more than it would to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But the Real Madrid Champions League, they're just synonymous, I think.
No, I get that. I'm not arguing with you at all. They
They-
have there's a dynasty between Real Madrid and the
Yeah.
Champions League. But what I'm saying is, it means a lot more for an Atletico fan to win than
To win their first ever.
It's
to
my
win
it's
the
my
10th.
10th and 11th. It's like
Real Madrid bias aside, that final, Simeone made a big mistake of starting Diego Costa. He was injured leading up to it. He forced him in the game and then came off within 15-20 minutes. He trudged off, did nothing, didn't touch the ball. So if he did not play, if he actually put someone else-
Darcy. He was winning 1-0 to the 93rd minute. Like, you can't say he made a mistake by starting
still,
someone.
but like, that's a sub gone.
It's
It's a sub gone.
I get it,
why
but
would
like
you?
nothing is telling you
Like if he
that if he didn't play Diego Costa, he was going to win the final.
yeah,
True,
still,
but at the same
it's a sub wasted. You
when you
never know.
concede a goal right at the last minute, then you can start making the argument about tired legs, about slow reaction times, and if you had that extra sub, maybe it comes in handy. But well, I mean, we're dealing with hypotheticals there,
Yeah.
and I mean, I get it.
So Ramos was a hero, and they won the game for you guys.
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
Di Maria, man of the match.
Yeah, so that's really big players. Once again, Cristiano beating his chest and not doing much.
He scored in the extra time.
He scored a fucking penalty and took his shirt off like he won the game. He didn't even celebrate Bale's goal. Come on, man.
He did
Don't get me
celebrate by
started.
himself.
Anyway. It would have been a lot more for Atletico fans. You're talking about virgins that would have fucked for the first time as opposed to someone's rooting every night. So
Going back to that comment that you're making about it being more memorable and meaningful to Atletico fans, I see where you're coming from. I do get it. I think it's hard for Real Madrid fans to accept that argument only because of how rabidly addicted we are to Champions League football and Champions League football wins. I remember a conversation me and Adasi were having a little while ago where I said to Adasi, look, even if we don't win this season, it's a rebuilding season, I'd be happy with it. And Adasi looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, it's just something about being part of that club's culture that
they're obsessed. It's an obsession.
Every win is memorable.
It's an obsession.
And I mean, when you talk about it by their number, La Decima, it was very symbolic, very meaningful. But I get where you're coming from. Atletico's never won it before, have they?
no.
No. Wow. So fair enough. So look, they've never won it before. Diego Simeone. I get it, but yeah, it is hard for Real Madrid fans to accept that argument only.
2015. So he got Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
Yeah, MSN. They got the treble again that year.
I remember MSN Messenger.
Good old days.
ASL.
Oh yeah.
BRB, LOL, yeah. The treble they won that year as well. Luis Enrique in charge at the time. The final against Juventus.
3-1, yeah.
Paul Pogba, Andrea Pirlo in that team. That was a chance for Buffon to win one.
It was.
Another one.
It was.
He's lost a few.
Another one that got away.
Another one that got away, yeah.
And then we'll go to the Real Madrid treble.
Yeah.
So Atletico Madrid 1-0 penalties.
Yep. Griezmann missing a penalty that game. Tight game that was. Real had their chances. And then Juan Fran missing his penalty and Ronaldo slotting his.
Yep.
Winning the 11th.
Yep.
Then against Juve 4-1.
Yeah.
That was the Mandzukic goal, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
1-0,
a great goal.
and then Real just ran away in that second half. Like that was peak Real in terms of the
style of play, consistency.
Yeah, look, that's one final you can't argue and take away from Real Madrid.
No,
That was,
absolutely.
and you
They
know
were
what's funny?
dominant.
Juve were favourites going into that one.
But they had,
They were.
from memory,
They were.
that was Tevez' last game for Juventus as well.
I think
He went
that
to
would have
Boca
been.
after that.
Yeah.
Then
First time team wins the Champions League 2 years in a row
Yeah.
after Real Madrid.
in the
No,
Champions League
after-
in the Champions League era.
True.
Champions League
Yeah.
era, yeah.
And then comes the treble. That's
Yeah.
the game that Karius won single-handedly.
Thanks for that, mate.
Liverpool fans and Klopp were very annoying after that, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Very annoying. But Real...
and they still are.
Real played a good game that game. They had chances as well to win by more. Isco hitting the bar. Yes, Liverpool had their chance too.
No,
But Real,
look, let's call
Real
it.
played well.
It was an average game.
I mean, average. It was a good game.
It wasn't like
And
average.
that was the goal. Sorry, that was Bale's goal. as
Bale was
well, wasn't
overhead
it?
and then
Yeah.
long range, and Benzema as well.
It definitely.
See,
was.
I think. Sorry.
No,
to
yeah.
I think Bale's goal in the final was better than Cristiano's against Juventus.
Mate, I don't know.
It's in a final.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah, look,
It's-
in terms of
it's-
significance, yeah, but Ronaldo's the way I think, go either way. The way Ronaldo
I don't know, look,
jumped
nothing-
up and
Taking nothing away from the amazing goal that Cristiano
You,
scored.
you do have to give it to Bale though that when he struck the ball, it kind of has this banana arc to it, and it just looks so picturesque.
I just feel like Ronaldo knew his as well. Like he planned his. Bale's like almost last minute. Oh, I jumped up and he
Yeah,
did
look,
it.
Bale.
But
That's
it
a
doesn't
improvisation.
make it harder.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't
I know
make it
that's what makes it
better.
harder. But like, yeah, I don't know.
I'll be honest with you though, as annoying as Liverpool fans were and Klopp was after the game, I'll be honest, the most annoying part was Cristiano Ronaldo and Bale whinging after the game, talking about moving on to greener pastures. Bale whinging about game time. You just scored 2 goals in the Champions League final, and the first thing out of your mouth is, what, Darcy?
I'm leaving. I want to go. But
What is
exactly.
that?
But look, but what's new with Real Madrid? They win a championship or title, whether it's La Liga or Champions League, and then a day or two after, a few days, oh, someone's leaving. Someone's been sacked.
Yeah, but mate,
That's just.
I mean,
it happens too often.
But this was unique in terms
I
of they're
know.
still on the field being interviewed. This is their first interview after winning.
Couldn't celebrate,
And
yeah.
both players are like, oh, well, this might be my last game. Bale saying because he doesn't get game time, he doesn't start in the match. Like, are you kidding me? We were watching the game together, Johnny, and me and Darcy were like as happy as you could be. And then just this pause of happiness. We're like, what just happened here? They're leaving?
And the last final, Liverpool-Tottenham, boring final.
I fell asleep during this one. I'll be honest with you.
You fell asleep. This is the first final I've watched in my lifetime where I was tempted to switch off at half time. And the funny thing is, Liverpool scored after 2 minutes. Yet Tottenham did not show any sort of spirit or any sort of determination to get back in the game. They were just weak as.
Yeah.
Very limp.
I'll be
Very
honest,
limp.
I look at that opportunity and go, I really wish Ajax had gone all the way.
And lost opportunity for English football as well. In that, yeah, it's a best. They say best league, and it got overhyped. Yes, all English final, best league in the world. Yet the final was a disappointment.
But you feel like if they had really put on a better display, it would have represented the Premier League in general as a whole.
As if they
better, right?
didn't care about losing. I don't know. I just
Well,
didn't like it.
What do you reckon are the best goals in the finals that you can think of? So we've got obviously the Zidane one that's a
Zidane
standout.
volley, Lars Ricken 97.
Yeah.
That was a memorable one. Just came off the bench and did
Bale's overhead kick that we spoke
that.
about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I think I like Crespo's finishes. I like Milita's finishes.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard to go past Zidane's 0-2 volley. Like, it's so memorable. It's just a moment that
Can I ask you, would Bale's overhead kick or Zidane's volley?
I'm gonna go with Zidane's volley.
Yeah, me too. No, me
Yeah.
too.
Like, I don't know what it is about it, but like,
Yeah.
the whole thing just
The build up in that as well.
yeah, everything. It's just like this
Yeah, I
magical
agree.
thing about it.
I just love how it was so camera perfect. The camera was right there. And I mean, obviously they're using promotions every year after.
There's
Maybe-
t-shirts been made. There's
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Iconic as goal as well was Messi. That picture where he's going up for that header.
That's true.
Where he
Yeah,
just-
that lead.
You know, such a not a big figure, but the way he jumped up and headed.
That's
And you
true.
see Van der Sar's face with his eye, with his mouth
Yeah.
wide open.
Well, Messi, they made Messi choose his favourite goal that he's ever scored, and he chose that one. So,
Yeah.
Fair enough, eh?
what would you say? Can you, at the top of your head, can you give me a top 3 Champions League finals?
Oh boy.
I'm going to say top 3:
Mm-hmm.
Real Madrid, Eintracht Frankfurt. Just the
Yeah.
amount of goals, not just amount of goals, but the legacy left, the way Real Madrid left their mark. Also,
We go one by one to one, or
No, give me top 3. That's it.
AC Milan Liverpool final.
Yeah. Is that number 2?
That's number 2. And number 1, I know I'm a bit biased for that. For me, the champion 2002 Real Madrid by Leverkusen.
Leverkusen.
Just
Really?
the volley for Zidane and then winning the night, and also the fact it was at Hampden Park in Glasgow, which was about 42 years from when they won that against Eintracht Frankfurt in that seventh
Ak?
final.
mate, for me, got to go with all right. Number 3, Man United Bayern Munich 99. It was totally a boring match, but what a historical end to that game, guys. Like, you got to give it to them. First treble ever, first Champions League win for 15 years or 16 years for English football. What a way to win it at the death like that. You know, it was one of the most memorable moments to watch and to live. Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys can remember exactly where you were when you saw the goals unfold. Number 2 would be Eintracht Frankfurt versus Real Madrid. The historical significance of that game is still being felt.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Alex Ferguson watched that and was inspired by that 50s Real Madrid era. It was a team that had so much consequences after it, and it's what's put Di Stefano Puskás on the map. That 5th was one of the most important European Cups, I believe, of all time. And number 1, AC Milan Liverpool, 2005. I mean, that was one of the most thrilling games to ever watch. I was going for AC Milan very much then. Andrei Shevchenko, Rui Costa, Clarence Seedorf. It was such a fantastic, fun, great AC Milan side. Sorry, Darcy?
I think Pirlo was playing too.
Oh yeah, Pirlo was playing, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to miss out
I know,
the great Andrea Pirlo.
And
Darcy,
Jaap Stam at the back.
yeah, Nesta. I mean, like, it was such an enjoyable side, dominant side. But then out of nowhere, and I think, I mean, like, I don't know where you guys stand in the, Frank Lampard, Steve Gerrard debate, but you got to give it to Steve Gerrard after that competition, man. What a captain's performance! What a challenge to overcome. You could imagine that halftime in that dressing room, trying to keep his guys in the, staying focused. It was yeah.
They actually said that game you mentioned, Akram, the halftime they were down 3-0 and they could hear the fans because Liverpool fans, there was a majority of them were Liverpool fans in the stadium.
Yeah.
And they could hear "You'll Never Walk Alone," in the
dressing rooms, yeah.
room, and then Rafa Benitez as well, trying to rev the guys up, and then just like as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, 6 minutes of madness. And Gerrard's first good goal, the header, getting the crowd and the players to urge him
Absolutely.
on. And then Smith's and then Alonso's penalty saved by Dida, and then he comes up with the rebound.
But you think you talk about the 6 minutes, but even after that 6 minutes, the body language of the AC Milan players, how they couldn't understand what was happening.
it's hard to-
The fans, the sound of everyone.
It's a memorable final.
Oh.
Look, to me, I'm going to break my own rules and I'm going to have to give a top 5.
What?
I'm going to be slack to you guys.
Oh, wow, okay.
I couldn't. So number 5 to me will be the Atletico Real Madrid final that we spoke about.
14,
Yep. The 4th, I've got AC Milan Barca 94.
Okay.
A 4-0
Yeah.
win. And the 3rd spot, I've got 2011, the Barca Man United, just because of Guardiola's Barcelona.
Yeah, no, which is fair enough.
Number 2, the Frankfurt Real Madrid final that you guys speak about and everything that it meant, and I'm going to agree with you guys. 05, the Milan, Liverpool, Istanbul.
Yeah.
I think it's something that everyone knows. They even know where it's been hosted. When you speak of the 05 final, there's one thing that you know what the score was at half time, where it was held, who won it. Everyone knows that it's a memorable final. Last question I want to ask you guys: when you think of the Champions League, what players come to mind?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, Johnny. That's a great
Yeah,
question.
well,
Darcy, what do you reckon, mate? What do you reckon?
Paolo Maldini for me.
Yep.
He's won
Yeah.
it 5 times.
Fair enough. Wow.
Yeah, Paolo Maldini.
Seedorf?
Paolo Seedorf, yep. 3 winner with 4-time winner with 3 different clubs
Yep.
as well. I think of
Di Stefano?
Yeah, absolutely. The European Cup days and
You've got to think about CR7 and Messi, guys.
Messi, yeah, they've won it
Cristiano.
so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cristiano 5 times, Messi 3 times, is it? 5 times as well.
3,
Ronaldo 5 times, yeah.
yeah, but how many Messi?
2,
Messi
3,
3?
4.
4?
4, but at 06 he wasn't really.
Yeah, no one counts 06.
Yeah.
No, it's okay, he's in the squad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
No, fair enough.
He
But
played
then
in that
you
season,
you can't talk about Champions League without talking about Ronaldo.
And
I mean,
Zidane,
it's-
and I think of Zidane as well.
I mean, you think of Zidane, like you think of that 0-2 final, but
Yeah.
that's the thing about that 0-2 final. Before that, it was he
Oh.
Champions League was not
Oh.
his competition until
I
2002.
forgot as well. Raul, I always think about him. He was always
Yeah.
one of the top scorers as well in the
Yeah,
competition.
he was very clutch in 98,
Yeah.
2000. He was
Yeah.
definitely someone that is owed a lot of credit, and
Absolutely, yeah.
he was a
Look,
fantastic player.
to me, the top 3 players you have to think of are Cristiano,
Yeah.
Maldini, and Di Stefano, and I think
Yeah.
we've covered that.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah.
it's Cristiano's competition, guys. Like, got to be honest there.
Where do you see the tournament going? Do you see it changing much? Do you see...
It's interesting you say where it goes because these days there's a lot of been talk of having a Super League involved. Or
Yes.
best European clubs playing in one league, and where does it put the Champions League? It's an interesting topic. What are they going to do? Are they going to have more teams? I mean, keep it at 32. Straightforward. You've got 8 groups of 4. Top 2 go to second round, knockout, and that's it. But are they going to increase more teams? It's going to dilute the competition. Because I think one of the issues with it is that they say the group stages are a formality sometimes.
Yeah.
You know who's going to win the game.
Yeah, but
you know who's going to come first and
There
second.
are surprise packages as
There
well.
are, but like
Absolutely.
the excitement happens in the knockout stage.
Yeah.
So it's just always there was that talk, but I think for me, keep it at 32 teams. Don't do any more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a case of if it isn't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I really disagree with the concept of like a Super League.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think that will do
destroy
anyone
football, man.
any good. But I know a lot of the big, what is it, like the elite seven or 8 clubs really wouldn't mind trying to do something like that. I don't think it would be healthy for football. So yeah, like I agree with Darcy. I think it's at its peak. It's evolved to the point where it's probably at its best, producing its best. I think the last major change, Darcy, would you say would be the removal of the second group stage?
Yeah, I'd say so. 'Cause
That's the last time they really altered it.
yeah, they did because like I said, they removed 4. That's like 4 weeks of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot.
It was pretty long, yeah.
Because it's like too many group stages. Like one group stage and then a second one, and there's 2. They become a formality again. No games. So
Absolutely.
just go straight to the knockout round, and
That's right.
then it's done the tournament good because you got more surprise packages.
And the last question, which I'm not going to ask, is the team of the Champions League. We know the answer.
Who is that, Johnny? Can you tell us?
So thanks for listening, guys.
13 for Real Madrid. Next in line with Milan with 7. So big gap there. Mind the gap.
Thanks for listening, guys. Once again, that was the end of episode 7. Go to footballretro.com, check out everything we have, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.